And the tip pooling was fascinating because we've never seen guests how they work out, how they're going to, pay the tip or whatever. Yeah. Fascinating. Joni, if you're a listener, hit me up. I know you're not a fan of Karen. Hit me up. We want to chat. All right. I love the episode.
He just goes into Trump sometimes.
No. Then I love.
Call me Karen.
Okay. Then I love the end of the episode.
Welcome aboard another brand spanking new episode of another Below Deck podcast. My name is Dylan. I'm saddled up next to one Patrick Hickey.
Permission to come aboard.
Granted, producer Kalen is over there behind my glasses.
Good to be here.
Kalen's been taking a lot of shit on social media.
Is that right?
Yeah, people really can't stand the guy.
What?
I say back off. You know what I mean?
I say bring it on.
Well, if you'd like to bring it on, join us on Facebook at Another Below Deck Podcast or join us on the Bad TV Facebook page. We've got a lot of different places on the interwebs. Just come find us. Wherever you feel warm, wherever you feel safe, wherever you feel comfy, you can come and make fun of Kalen. Also, jump in the iTunes ratings and reviews.
There's more work to be done there.
A lot more work. 5 stars, kind words, and join us at patreon.com/another podcast network. We've got Love is Blind. We've got Vanderpump Rules with my sister. And Pat, why don't you tell them about Bad TV?
Well, I was going to add another podcast show. Don't forget about that, where we break down this week with our listeners our little journey actually at the live reunion. So if you want to hear what that experience was, it's only going to be up for 24 hours or 48 hours, but get it while it's hot.
That's a circle of trust type thing. We do not want to be sued by Netflix and Reed Hastings, so that's going to be for the $12 or we haven't decided, but go to patreon.com. That audio of our horrific recounting of what it was like being in the studio while Netflix was crashing, while the production trot out their cast 3-4 times while the warm-up guy made us do a choreographed sing-along to Ain't No Mountain High Enough. The entire evening was absolutely fucking horrific, and we break the entire thing down. But the audio will be gone because Netflix, we have not talked about this. We signed that confidentiality agreement, and we meant to sign it.
Right. In other business, head on over to Bad TV. Bad TV, it's wherever you listen to your podcast, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Get this. If you love us and you love Below Deck, just go over here. Here's what you get. 4 free shows a week. We cover Life After Lockup. We cover Seeking Sister
Is this too
Husband.
much smoke? Are you okay?
Seeking Brother Husband. Sorry.
Okay,
we cover,
okay.
I'm getting high right now. We cover Summer House, and we cover, what's the other thing we cover? Oh, Below Deck. And we put that all over there on that one feed to make your life so much easier. You know, Dylan, I've been thinking lately, what's my real purpose on this planet at the end of the day? It's to provide escapism, from all the horrible things that the world puts on us on any day. You head over to that podcast. You're not going to hear any politics. You're not going to hear any bullshit. We're just going to give you mindless recaps of dumb shows. What's better than that, Dill?
Yeah, no, it's so funny. I was talking to my therapist the other day about my purpose, and we landed on my loved ones' adoration and support is not enough. I need it from multitudes of people. Yeah.
How many is enough?
I don't think ever. So, I'm working on it. But the good news is we have a great episode of Below Deck to get into this evening.
I believe we do.
Now, it was a difficult one to recap, to take
Lots
notes
of bouncing
on,
around.
because, it was not the most structured episode. It involved sitting at the dock of the bay, to quote the great Otis Redding. But is that the lyric?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't think did he sing that, or was that the guy who got killed by his father, Marvin Gaye? Do you know his dad killed him?
Marvin Gaye's dad killed him?
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Wow.
How'd he do it?
Shot him.
Wow.
Sad.
Kalen, what are your fucking pots, man? Come on, man. Give them to us, man.
Solid episode. First off, Colin just being the hero. Gotta love that. Mm-hmm. There was good food. There was messy, annoying guests. And the end of the episode to top it all off, 60 pots.
Brief? Concise?
Not that brief. Pat, how many pots?
Thoughts. All right, first off, I want to talk about the boat being broken down and not seaworthy. Now, I reached out to Karen, one of the charter guests, I guess the one that didn't want to tip, I think. I really wanted to get Joel, I think her name is Joni on.
Patrick when he did that, who would want to talk to her?
Well, she's been pretty busy on Twitter today and also on Instagram posting photos of her dirty room, and why it smelled like fish, And I offered her twice. This is your opportunity to clear the air. And
right, because we're going to call you a feral hog if you do not come on. Well, nothing to do with weight or anything. I mean, just the rooms were a disaster.
Well, you don't want to come on, that's your choice. But this is the #1 Below Deck podcast recap in the entire world. This would have been your forum or platform to clear the air. Instead, you chose to forego that and instead defend yourself with your 200 followers on Instagram. Fine, live your life.
It's so shocking. She probably just doesn't know how to use the app, so she hasn't seen the message. But if you are not paying attention to us, it's so funny. Things really happen on the DMs, lots of handshakes, lots of meetups, lots of I'd love to come on the pod. And it's cool. And the people that left you unread most often, I mean, Drake constantly leaves us unread, but it's the people who are completely irrelevant, like the entirety of the first season of Rock of Love on VH1. They didn't write back to us.
No.
They pitched us on buying yachts.
That's right.
And ignored our communique to come onto the show. So anyways, these are your pods.
Okay. So I want to get into right off the bat here because I think it's worthy of discussion because it should be heavily debated among all the lovers of this show. What happens when the boat doesn't leave the dock? Right? And I was thinking about this because, if you want to attack Karen for having a messy room, fair enough. But it doesn't negate the issue that the boat has not left the dock and she's unhappy about it. And I back her and her fellow guests on this. Think about if you are on this charter. Who loses, who wins? Well, I'll tell you who wins. The person that owns the boat wins. Why is the person that owns the boat wins? He doesn't have to expend any fuel. Expensive things that go along typically.
Pretty long pots.
All right, hold on. When you're going to be in the service business, imagine if you only have to provide half the service, but you're charging the same price. The person that owns the boat wins. The crew wins because you're going to tip them anyway. It sucks because, you got to run around and wait on these people hand and foot because there's nothing else to do. Fair enough. You know who else wins? Bravo! Below Deck wins because it's so goddamn uncomfortable. It makes great TV. Who loses? The paying charter guests. Right. They sit on a fucking dock at a rundown, basically a version of the Ramada Inn.
It
on
smells
waves.
of avian feces in the shallow waters of bays. Now, it's disgusting.
If Karen had come on the show, I would have said, did you ask for your money back on day one? Because I would have. But I don't get to ask that question now. Because she refused to come on the show.
All right.
So anyway,
Will you fucking move it along?
All right.
My God.
All right. Let's talk about the show itself. There is a chink in Glenn's armor. He's my favorite captain. I love him.
Well, he's everybody's favorite captain.
But that move where he pulled Daisy into that impromptu charter review that Karen put on him, I thought that was wildly inappropriate and unprofessional. As a captain,
I think you're really burying the lead. I would say that the chink in his armor is that he has a trail of blood and tears behind him that could be uncovered by any of the various investigative bodies.
But they don't care. He makes too much money.
This man.
He makes too much money for
that's
Bravo.
his biggest chink.
Okay. The second part of the show I loved was the
pulling in Daisy. I mean, my God.
Well, I thought it was inappropriate. And the tip pooling was fascinating because we've never seen guests how they work out how they're gonna pay the tip or whatever. Yeah. Fascinating. Joni, if you're a listener, hit me up. I know you're not a fan of Karen. Hit me up. We want to chat. All right. I love the episode.
He just goes into Trump sometimes.
No. Then I love.
Call me Karen.
Okay. Then I love the end of the episode where we get that ball of snakes and it was working like a froth at the surface of that hot tub.
Sure. Yeah.
Gonna be a great season. Good episode. True. Lots of bouncing around 90 knots.
Yeah. You could kind of see like the pre-molt kind of come to the surface. You know, that kind of slippery stuff that keeps the scales ready to shed. That kind of shit was all over the place. But I fear as though it may be too much too soon. Because all of the makeout sessions we saw in the trailer were tonight. So color me leery or wary. I'm not sure what the word is.
They better not lie to us. You know, Colin said he had a throuple going on there. So I better see a throuple or I'm going to be pissed.
Well, no, what do you expect Colin to be doing? He's in the middle of Gary and Daisy. It's a flirty, crushy thing. It's not a threesome. We're not talking about threesomes. And the show is so much more than that, Patrick. Tonight we got to see the Sea Dog become the hero, perhaps of Bravo, but definitely of this entire franchise that we've always known him to be. I mean, the man saved the day by putting a crude Band-Aid on a very expensive piece of aquatic machinery, which will combust in 3 episodes. But because of that, I actually didn't like this episode that much. There was a lot of mechanical stuff going on. And while I do appreciate Colin's heroism, we've talked about it before, our main issue with the docking and undocking is Captain Lee getting on, or Captain Sandy. When the wind's pushing this way, the bow slides this way, and we have to get that starboard line tucked into. And it's like, this is not what we're watching this for. This isn't Nat Geo. This isn't Discovery Plus. Okay. And also, Lee, come on. 2 pods. Yeah. All right. Kick us off.
Oh, you want me to kick us off?
Yeah,
okay, so the episode was called The Worst Vacation Ever.
Is there a little bit of a lull there?
You're good.
All right, so the show starts off with those quote-unquote engineers from the town, you know. They say it's going to take at least 2 weeks to fix it.
Dude, you can tell, sorry, this mic stand is, sorry. You can tell an hourly employee from a mile away.
Oh, yeah.
Union guys. And listen, labor movements are important, okay? But I mean, these fucking Sardinian chain smokers, they're just like, it's going to take us I don't know, 6 months to get this thing done.
6 months?
Sign this contract.
Colin's seen it done in 5 days. And by the way, a little caution out there. Always get a second opinion, because sometimes someone's opinion can...
you're going to die. Well, that can't be it. I gotta
go get a second opinion, because that doctor or that mechanic, whatever mood they're in that day, that could definitely play a part in the whatever advice they're giving you.
So you think the conveying of fatal diagnoses are at the whims of the
fighting with the wife that morning.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
Yeah. He walks in,
die.
reads a chart, gives you a clean bill of health, and he's just like, you know what? I just want to hurt somebody today.
You look like my wife. You're going to die.
The bob cut really triggered Doc.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're going to need a full rebuild kit on a C-30, dude.
Okay. So we begin with some good news. The engine's in great shape. So what? Oh, that was sarcastic. It was a sarcastic note. The guests are doing fine at this point. One of them even recommends that they pull back on the espresso martinis. Now, I hope she was doing that to save her liver and not the sea rats, because the sea rats should only be doing espresso martini duty. Glenn heads out to give said guests their options for the rest of their vacation, which is $60,000 a day. Pat, what are those options?
Well, we can have a tender drive you over to a beach, or we can get you all in a van and drive you over to a beach.
Yeah.
Very practical solution.
You guys can get the game board out and shut the fuck up. We'll keep running snacks up. It's not a big deal. I got to go watch Colin fix the engine.
Now, here's what I would have said if I was Karen. I said, and we're getting our money back, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because, you know, we could go hire a van and get ourselves to the beach for way less money than staying on a Ramada Inn.
Well, speaking of Ramada Inns, if I was on this boat, I would have been at a hotel yesterday.
Yeah.
Get me out of here. The rooms are horror film-like in their smallness. It's a clown car. And you're being served by sea rats, and they are in their most sea ratty right now. It's the beginning of the season. Yeah. Everyone lied on their resume. They were working at fucking Cane's, and now they're here. This is an unmitigated disaster. The guests can't wipe their ass. There's blood everywhere. The dishes aren't getting washed properly, and
they're vacationing on a dock.
Right.
Get the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
And by the way, if you give me any pushback, Glenn, about me getting my money back, as a vacationer, all right, here's what I'm going to do, sir. If you refuse to give me all my money back, I'm going to sue you, okay? And then you're going to say, well, read the contract. We said if it didn't leave the dock or some bullshit like that, you still owe us all the money. I go, all fine and well, but I'm still going to sue you, and I'm going to write mean-spirited, long-winded reviews of you, and I'm going to ruin your entire business, sir.
Right.
So give me back that money.
I don't know that would work. I'll tell you what I would do. Kaylin, we will not get to you next.
Okay.
Am I being too hard?
On him, I think he's endearing himself to the audience.
The bit only goes so far.
The more you go after him, the more you're going to give him power,
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's my thought.
This is what I would do. I'd go up to Glenn and I would go, listen, we'll stay on this boat. You will serve us your surf, your turf, and your poorly made espresso martinis. And after we are done here, I will tip your crew, and I will extend my vacation by a fortnight. I will go under every loose door with a piece of plastic sticking out of it, and I will tug on it. And I will find your lair. I will find the bones. I will find the dried blood. I will find the DNA, and you will end this evil. And he would probably say, like, I don't know, what are you talking about? I'm rambling now.
No, I have a theory.
Really scared.
That room, that was another mistake Glenn made. He killed someone in that cabin. That's where all the fucking blood was there.
Oh my God, I love that take.
Just a theory.
I was so bad with my words there, but I'm really happy that take came out of it. Okay, so let's move on.
Okay, so Daisy's concerned about, being a stew down because they're going to have that picnic party, and she's got to send somebody over there to, be a bottle service girl or something like that. And there's too many toilets and sheets covered in stains to clean on that boat,
Right. So we get a little meanwhile here. We head out to the tender post espresso martinis. Evidently, Glenn is invited to dinner. Mm-hmm. I don't know why these graces are extended to these people. I mean, they're ruining your vacation.
Well, it's predominantly, Gary's over in that hotel still there, still breathing into a pillow. And
you're never going to get well if you keep breathing into that pillow.
No. So Captain Glenn's like, he's a little star power. He's got a couple seasons under his belt. So why not, if you're going to be stuck on a dock living in a Ramada Inn on the ocean, why not mix it up with some, some C-list talent?
Yeah. No, he's going to have a great time at dinner. And Glenn knows how dire the situation is. And one of his OTFs, he says, the guests are having less than the best time they could have.
Understatement of the year.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, Glenn, once again, big mistake. Maybe you did this, maybe you didn't, but it wasn't on camera. At this point, don't you call the next people that plan on having their vacation on this goddamn boat? As far as you know, that boat ain't going anywhere, and I think you owe it to them to warn them, like, hey, just, here's a heads up. You can still have a wonderful vacation.
Yeah.
But
right.
little snafu.
Yeah, if you're in this constant state of crack papering over, it's not dissimilar to the Netflix's Love is Blind Live experience.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Well, you call them, you go, hey.
You got to say that it's broken at some point. You have to tell people. We can't just sit here being made to sing karaoke songs by this fucking warm-up guy. I can't do it anymore. I'm going to go fucking crazy.
We got a story out of it, Dylan. Don't be negative. So Glenn should be calling these people. He says, he goes, great news. Are you excited for the charter? You're gonna be viewing the seas of Sardinia with a beautiful glass of champagne.
Yeah.
Bad news, it's going to be from the fucking dock. Are we psyched?
Are we?
Yeah, let's party.
Right.
You try and always spin it like positively,
Sure. Yeah, no, that's your masterclass in that. We get to Icegate next. Now, Glenn is for the first time unflappable, and I feel as though he's close to getting caught because I think that his professional life is bleeding into this professional life. This is B-job. He's just more flappable than seasons past. I don't see him waddling panicked about ice usually.
No, but it's all encompassing. It's the boat won't start, That's a little bit in the back of his mind. I think it's what's affecting his demeanor throughout, I've never seen him go off on a crew member like this before. Where's that ice?
You don't think that they're getting close?
Perhaps.
So him and Daisy get into a little bit of a tiff. I don't know if it's tiff or tiff. It's too much pot. Poor Daisy is she takes the brunt of this stress, and Daisy is good at her job. Mm-hmm. Daisy's good at her job. I don't need to say anything insulting after that, right? I don't need to do that.
Well, she likes Gary. That's her one fault.
I don't need to talk about how it's. I don't need to say anything. Daisy's great at her job. She put the ice on the tender, and Glenn is really ripping into her for no goddamn reason. I mean, she knows that the ice is there, and Karen and her pals were too hopped up on Kahlua to recognize that it was right behind them the entire time. So we get to the beach. I think Lucky and what's his name? Chase. I don't know the names yet.
Well, it's Chase and it's Lucky, but her name, Lucky, is spelled Lucy.
Odd way to spell Lucky.
Big time.
But they have been sent to do the beach setup, the all-important massive canvas for Sea Rat creativity.
Yeah, it is. It's wonderful.
And blowout sales at 99-cent stores.
Now, Lucky says, Chase ain't that bad of a guy, but he's one of these over-positive people. Now, he reminds me quite a bit of Culver. Do you remember Culver? I think his alias was Randy Savage or something
Absolutely. Else. There are a couple of specific kinds of evil on this world, but yeah.
I definitely, I like them more than the people on the other end of that spectrum, which is our negative sons of bitches. The ones that always got a problem with everything.
Is he talking about me?
No, not at all.
I feel like you're talking about me.
No, they're just like, this sucks. This isn't going to work out. I'm like, hey, slow down.
Well,
Stop being so negative.
We have Malachian capitalists right at the top of the most evil. Then we have, probably racists and fascists are at the top. But very close to the peak of evil are overly positive people. I mean, they're just some of the most annoying people on the planet. So I get why Lucky is very perturbed with this guy.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
She's standing next to true evil. What is this bit? God, help me.
I'll help you.
It's shocking.
All right. So we learned Colin has a very unorthodox plan to, I guess, it's very convoluted, so I can't figure out how to explain it in words. But for me, it sounded like, to use a car analogy, this is Colin's plan. He's going to get someone to turn the key to the ignition, and then 4 people are going to push the car from behind out into the sea.
Oh, yeah.
I think.
Right.
Yeah, but it involves like draining certain cylinders and whatnot.
Yeah, so he's going to flood the engine with diesel, dry everything out, and then shoot the diesel back out. And the kind of crusted over gas will burn up and almost kill everybody on board, but right now it'll clean out the engine.
Well, the reason why we're even here is he has a lot of experience, or at least experience with water damage engines. Back in the day, he pulled a boat that had sank out of the water. He rebuilt the engine, and wouldn't you know, it fucking blew up. Nearly killed a couple people.
I know.
So who would know about an engine, whether or not it's going to explode or not? Trial and error.
Would you go on a yacht if you weren't paying for anything?
Absolutely. Bravo, hit us up. If you're listening, we'll go. I'll even pull together a tip. I'll tip 20 grand between like 6 people. We'll go on that vacation.
Are you not a little spooked out?
Well, one of their storylines
I don't
would be,
like being out at sea in a boat.
Here was I had a nightmare about this.
I couldn't sleep.
So Bravo hits us up. We talk to their PR at least once a week. And they say, look, guys, why don't you come on? It'd be a great bit. We'll mention that you guys podcast about the show. And then one of the storylines will be like a crew member hearing us like talk shit about them on the podcast. And then they'll talk about how terrible we are as people on the boat. And that'll be a storyline.
That was your nightmare?
Kind of, yeah.
Did you actually dream that?
I think so, yeah. And it was Captain Lee.
That sounds like more of a daydream.
Well, it was me making fun of how old Lee is and what a loser he is,
and
him getting pissed.
Yeah.
And I think it's like whoever Chief Stew is, she's like, listen to this, Captain Lee. Oh,
Yeah.
that's
okay.
what they have to say about me, do they now?
Sure. Yeah, so that was like a violent delusion while you were stuck in traffic. I don't think you dreamed that. I don't think the unconscious mind would try to tell you something that trivial. My God.
Fair enough.
Okay. So, yes, this is when it gets very technical, and it's just this kind of thing where it's like, I'm just shocked that they didn't know that this was happening before the season began. I mean, the fact that you have not done an ocular pat down of really any of the machinery. I mean, maybe they did, but I don't know. I don't know how boats work.
All right, so this is where we've seen, because look, these boats are extremely dangerous. You can get your fucking arm ripped off, or if we've seen in a previous season, nearly drown, or have, at the very worst, have your leg ripped off.
Oh, and we saw all those guys catch all that fish, and they couldn't get over that wave, and then all of their wives who chain smoked missed them for forever.
Perfect storm. What an oddly cast film. So
We got Kloondog.
Yep.
We got Wahlberg.
John C. Reilly.
We got John C. Reilly. We got the black guy from The Edge.
And then we got someone's wife, who that was a very odd choice for a wife, because I believe those.
And look at us. We can name the three white guys. How disgusting is that?
We are discussing.
How disgusting
Forgive
is
us.
that? Oh, my God.
Yeah, what the hell was I saying?
Okay. So we go to the beach, and Alex is starting to be asked about who he's catching vibes with. He says brunettes with nice teeth.
Now, we skipped over a little bit, but yes, he says all he likes normally is brunettes with, and that's a turn on. And he also, he likes nice teeth. Who doesn't like nice teeth?
Well,
It kind of goes without saying, like, hey, Pat, what gets your rocks off? Me? Well, I love fucked up teeth. Nothing turns me on like a set of teeth so crooked you wonder how she chews properly.
right.
Oh, I'm chewing right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Watch out for this Alex character. He's pretty dumb.
Do you know? Do you know what turns me on? When I see somebody's teeth and I wonder how they don't cut their lips open when they chew. But he says that, watch out for this Alex guy. He's pretty dumb.
Turn-ons, nice teeth.
All right. But, however shared that quality is, I can't talk tonight. He's willing to alter his standards because it looks as though while he is attracted to brunettes with nice teeth, he's also attracted to every person on this boat.
Anyone with a hoo-ha that's breathing on the boat that's a coworker. Any
like,
one of them.
I'm down with blonde girls with nice teeth, but all of the brunette. Pat.
Gather your thoughts here. I'm going to do a meanwhile.
What a performance.
Okay.
Holy shit.
All right. Meanwhile, interior talks shit about how messy the guest rooms are.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, a dinner menu is formed. And meanwhile, our chef has her first mishap with a blender. And the kitchen looks like the Jolly Green Giant just had a fucking bukkake party in there.
Why do you have to talk
That
like
son of a
that?
bitch is supposed to be hawking peas. We've really become a depraved nation with all this bukkake business. Whatever happened with normal sex, you sickos?
What do you mean all this bukkake business?
It's everywhere.
No. It's the craziest thing.
It's like anal and people spitting in each other's mouths.
I thought it was just this fringe thing, but it's all I watch. It's everywhere. Yeah. So things in the kitchen are not going well. Lucky drops 40 flutes of champagne. I mean, she goes through almost their entire flute reserve. And it's just such a beautiful metaphor for what's going on this charter. Mm-hmm. But I believe we have to begin prepping for dinner. Mm-hmm.
After hours and hours of perseverance, something else happens before that dinner prep, Dylan.
Yes.
Our old salty sea dog After 3 seasons just walking around, first season he was a shoulder to cry on, second season he was a telephone guy, and now finally he has arrived to the apex of his purpose and meaning on this planet.
I don't know
It's
about that.
starting that goddamn engine and getting the Parzival started! Well done, Colin. You finally have purpose, and you better pull off that fucking throuple, or I'm going to be pissed at Bravo and all those puppets over there
Can you cut the music, please?
faking like he's going to have sex with 2 women.
Patrick, he's not going to. You have to stop that. The disappointment is going to build and build and build. You have to let go of that because we're not going to have Colin having a threesome on the show. But yeah, ode to Joy. I mean, what a hero he was this episode.
Again, though, it is a Band-Aid on someone that just got their arm chopped off. This boat is not seaworthy. They should not sell a second charter.
You know that scene in Black Hawk Down where they're gooping into the guy's leg to try to sew together his femoral artery?
I believe so.
It would be like if you just put like a big Band-Aid on that and the guy's like, wait, hang on a second, I'm going to fucking die if you do that. That's what we're doing to Parsifal.
Yeah.
Right. So, everyone is jazzed, but there is a foreboding shot here. Smoke creeps out beneath the underbelly of Parsifal as though it's on the river Styx or something. There is something bad on the horizon. Let's get to dinner. What a bizarre dinner it was. First up, we've got cucumber gazpacho with olive oil pearls.
Ooh, you can see the pearls in the green water.
Yeah.
Someone said that, I think.
Yeah, no, and I appreciate what that's driving at because gazpachos are, on the whole, pretty revolting. I don't think anybody needs a gazpacho of any sort, really. But it has to have at least a little texture. Strawberries and chilies and tomatoes, and so we've seen a lot of that on this show. But cucumber gazpacho, it seems like it's a garnish. It doesn't seem like anything that you would want to suck down an entire bowl of. I mean, Patrick, would you not would you not knock this dish off the table?
I absolutely
and
would.
Demand a turkey sandwich.
I was disgusted by it. It looked like, as a kid, I used to drink this poison designed to kill children in America called Ecto Cooler. It was a little play on Ghostbusters. It was essentially juice designed to make us dumber. And
was it like Soylent?
It looked like this gazpacho.
Okay. I'm sure that was delicious, though.
I don't know. I think it made me dumber in my formidable years. Thank God I got smarter when I moved out to Los Angeles.
Yeah. This city will really bring out the best in you. But also the olive oil pearls. We need not the tricks of gastronomy here. We need food. And also an olive oil drizzle on top of that will look just as delicious. So while the first course is getting served, Lucky walks into something akin to what Glenn's processing rooms look like. I mean, there's blood, there's shit, there's makeup, there's clothes, nail beds. I mean, it's a goddamn nightmare.
Yeah. It's and apparently it smells like someone left a dead fish under a pillow. Maybe someone's in the mob. You know what I mean? I heard that's what they do to warn witnesses not to talk to the coppers. You know?
Yeah. Imagine if it was a horse's head, like in The Godfather. They just didn't show.
Well, they'll say you'll sleep with the fishes or something like that. Or alternatively, someone should visit their gyno right away.
Oh,
perhaps
Patrick.
a vagina transfer. You know, you can swap one of those out. You know, I heard the Kardashians got a new one at some point. You know,
you can swap them out.
Yeah, new technology.
Well, I'm frustrated because it's silly to mount a defense against that, right? Yeah, I'm being lulled into having to say, Patrick, I don't think that's right. that's so dumb.
New technology.
All right, so why is everybody bleeding? What's going on with the blood? Maybe it's a nose.
I just provided two possible answers.
Stop. All right, so they speak of getting buck. I want to get there, but let's not blow our load. Second course is a quite revolting sounding tuna and Parmesan taco dish, cheese and fish, a not-so-cardinal rule that can only be broken with the lucidity and touch of a master. I've not seen enough of her food, but I don't know that tuna in a Parmesan crisp sounds very appetizing. Pat, you would obviously swipe this off the table and say, get me a Pinot Grigio. I'll eat not another 2 pieces of bread.
You're speaking my language, Dylan.
Yep.
You know me well enough. That's the wonderful thing about being friends. You know how the other person would behave. Ugh. I wouldn't touch this thing with a 10-foot pole.
You know what else you wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole?
What?
A doctor's office.
It's true.
Unbelievable. You know, the fans are getting concerned about your health.
Well, first off, I want to say this. Hey, Kaylin.
Hey.
You work with me a lot, right?
Every week.
Do I ever cough with you ever in your room?
Never.
Does my throat sound like this?
Never.
I think Dylan's trying to kill me in the studio.
So the next course, steak and prawns with truffle butter, rounds us out, also known as surf and turf. Our first of the season. I think we should get a counter going.
Let's do it.
Maybe an over-under. I would probably set it at 7.
7. So we got, I'd say we have 8 charters in a season, somewhere around there. So
2 to 3.
That's a 90%. Yeah, I think we're going to get there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we're going to see it. A little bit less than 7 times. But anyways, 21. No, that's too low. 54 pots.
54. I will say service went off without a hitch, though. There wasn't a lot of delays, or at least I don't think there was. Well, at some point.
Not true. She was not sure about the construction of the surf and turf.
That's right.
Where to wedge the mound of truffle butter underneath. She was struggling with that, and it shocked her because she has a background in fine dining and that details are important to her, so she's not sure how this threw her so much. But some of these timelines just don't add up. I mean, these people are 28 to 35, been working in fine dining for what? I mean, you said you've been on the ocean for like 8 years because you like working in the elements. So, I mean, how much fine dining experience could you have? I mean, my God.
She started when she was 8.
Yeah.
All right, next morning, breakfast. Do you have any thoughts on that, Dylan?
Quite beautiful, actually. They really turned it around. Ham and cheese crepe, that's a lovely way to start off a day. A lovely way to start off a day. I love that the crepes were not buckwheat either. Nobody wants that shit.
I don't either. Hey, we get another positive test for poor Gary, And
he's sleeping on the same fucking pillow.
Yeah, well, I'm telling you, someone has to let that doctor know. Stop testing. You're testing for the wrong disease that starts with C. Gary could be in that hotel room till the next fucking Avatar movie comes out. The man has chlamydia.
Okay. When is the new Avatar movie coming out?
Probably 3 years.
You can't wait too long in between stuff. I mean, people just kind of fall out of love with it. I'm not saying that that's what happened to SZA's record, but it had been a long time since Control, so it just didn't. I mean, it's a great record, but I mean, Avatar. It's still, like an entirely new property.
Yeah, well, it made like $2 billion, so I think they're doing all right. But I have to tell you, I'm about a quarter way through that thing. I don't think I'm going back.
Yeah, well, you don't like good things, so you should just turn on some sad Oxygen show about fat people. That's probably better than James Cameron's second or third opus. Okay, so let's get to the tip. Well, and the storm beforehand.
All right, so the guests have a little powwow on who's going to share the bad news to Glenn. And I believe it's Karen and her friend that delivers the news. No TP, no bath mats, no towels, trash left in the rooms. And how about burying the lead? They didn't leave the fucking dock. They didn't even mention that part to him.
Right.
I'd start with that.
Yeah. You could tell Karen's not great with confrontation, because this seemed to be an encounter that they were hopping themselves up for, at least Karen was. And listen, we've been there before. Like, this guy just cut the line. I got to, get ready. I got to go talk to a manager. I got to go be a Karen. Sometimes it's a little nerve-wracking, but she starts crying and having a panic attack right out of the gate. Puts her sunglasses on to hide the redness and delivers a criticism of the vacation that, as you mentioned, was I thought, a little soft-handed. And the tip.
Well, hold on there.
Oh, the tip.
Hold on there, Dill. Because while they're doing this, we cut to Joni and the other guests, Mary Lynn. Guys, hit me up. I want to hear your side of the story. And they agree.
Hey, Karen.
I think one of them says they're over there saying that to Glenn and they don't want a tip. So then it's decided by the remaining charter guests that they need to start digging a little deeper in that purse so that they don't come off in Bravo lore as one of the cheap tippers.
You know, I mean, that is the advantage of having a bag. Because you turn to me, you go, hey, we need more cash. I can't fit that much cash in here. I got $13. I mean, where you're pulling out $4,000 in cash?
Well, Dill, if you're going on one of these vacations,
a bag of holding.
You got to bring a bunch of cash to these vacations, you know?
Yeah, so the tip luckily was saved.
Yes.
By the good nature and the appreciation for the staff from the Niceys.
Because they have to keep in mind, it's not the crew's fault. Your contention is with that captain and or the owner of the boat or Bravo and not the poor staff running around waiting on you hand and foot.
I tuned out. I didn't hear what you said.
I was saying I was
lost focus.
Basically bookending my initial thoughts at the top of the show. It's really not the crew's fault that this vacation kind of sucks, except for the trash bins,
the blood.
Well, that wasn't their fault.
Shit stains. But really, it's Captain Glenn's fault because he was out having way too much of a good time and should have checked the engine.
One of the points I was going to make is sometimes these, because hopefully you finally saw Glenn in his commercial debut. He's actually on commercials on the show.
Such a bizarre commercial. He sets up like a salami platter for himself via DoorDash. I mean, it's just. There are creatives in Hollywood that I don't know.
I'll kill that bastard.
I don't know how they have jobs. I mean, it's just
but the point is, that's how an engine doesn't work when you show up to a goddamn TV show. The guy's got his fucking head elsewhere.
Right.
You're still a captain of a vessel, kinda, fake TV captain, and you got to make sure everything's running. He's talking to his agent at ICM. Huh?
Did you call Captain Glenn a fake TV captain?
Well, look, dude. The engine didn't work on your first charter. You're too busy with your agent over there at ICM talking about salami deals.
Right.
You got to still do your job.
Yeah.
He's got his eye not on the ball.
Right.
Okay. Want to get to the Sea Rats going out? Oh, it was $19K, by the way, $21,500 each.
No fanfare at all. Our first tip of the season, and it's just no fanfare at all from you.
Well, I kind of felt like we need to move on.
All right, so let's get to the slithering, the hissing, and the drinking. The Sea Rats head out for a night out. They sit down to a dinner. You know, it's fascinating how shit-faced they can get at dinner tables. I get a bar, and listen, I'll get fucked up at a dinner. I sit down to a dinner for 3 hours. It rarely happens. But, you know, I'll tip a couple back. But it feels like we've been in the bubble with this crew for a while. Like they just don't go out to clubs as much as they used to on the show. So they'll just sit down at a dinner and turn it into a boat race between the three guys. I mean, they start fucking chugging beers, racing each other. Obviously, the Sea Dog wins that contest. Sit down, Padawans. Sit down. You guys were working at REI last week, okay? This is a Sea Dog. But everybody gets nice and lubed up. Daisy's getting thrown in a shopping cart like a bag of plastic bottles. And they are wheeled back to the boat, and this is where the molting and the shedding begins. They get in the jacuzzi. Sea Dog takes the night off. He knows that tomorrow he knows that young soldier's still bleeding up. His face is turning ever whiter by the minute.
There's a fucking Band-Aid on his rib cage.
Yeah. On his rib cage.
It's bleeding out, man.
But the rest of the crew stays up. They're slithering, they're sucking, and there's obviously, because we are in a stage of Arrested Development, a game of truth or dare.
Now, let me tell you something, Chase, is what a great entertainment director he is. Because once him and Alex kind of figure out who wants who, and they
You play Ode to Joy, please.
oh yeah, I'll talk over it. It's actually pretty magnificent and diabolical. He goes, hey, Alex, which one do you want? He's like, I don't know. I'll fuck any of them. Oh, great. Okay.
Oh, God.
Well, I'm just saying.
God damn.
I think he said that, and then they beeped it. And he says, all right. He taps Alex on the back. He says, I got this. I got this. How about a game of truth or dare? Alex raises his hand very quickly. Me, I'll dare. All right, fucking stick your tongue down Daisy's throat.
Yeah.
All right. This is going great. Okay, all right. Fucking stick your tongue down that other blonde girl's face.
Turn it off.
Hey, all right. Start fucking.
It is funny that. Well, I feel like who's the guy that gave Danny a C-Rat baby? That guy,
Jolly Green Giant.
That guy with giantism.
Idiot. I forget his name.
Yeah. He had like the 10 commandments on his back.
I said, Danny, you want to come on the show? She said, I love you. I'd love to. I said, great. Come on Wednesday. She goes, hey, by the way, I can't talk about the baby daddy. I said, can't have you on. That's what we want to ask you about. Can't have you on. I love you. I have a crush on you, but I can't have you on.
Okay, Patrick. Well, I mean, she's a mother. Come on, man. So I feel like he is a kind of version of that. I mean, Lucky says he's way too American for me, and that's exactly what he is. But he's like, anybody want to play truth or dare? And his buddy's like, yeah, dare me. Dares him to hook up with a girl, and he's like, okay, who's next? He goes, I want to go again. And he just gives him another dare. The girls are like, wait, what's going on? They're just making out, pouring champagne into each other's mouth. It is a ball of snakes kind of moment. And the seasons need at least one of these moments. Mm-hmm. You know, this is the problem with Below Deck Adventure. All those dorks were too dorky to ever get lubed up like this. Have a good time.
I agree.
My God. Well, I think that's the end of the episode.
That's totally the end of the episode.
All right, guys. I am very apologetic for my high mouth tonight.
I thought you did great.
Got lost in a couple bits there, but we love you guys for listening so much. Jump in the iTunes ratings and reviews. Leave 5 stars. Kind words. Join us on Patreon for ad-free episodes, uncensored episodes every once in a while. Tonight got pretty hairy. What with Pat talking about swapping out vaginas and screaming chlamydia and stuff like that. But I think that we're going to wait for some more unsavory speak. But there's lots of good stuff at Patreon. Go there. Join us on YouTube at badt.v. Instagram, everywhere. We love you. I'm Dylan saying goodbye. Pat, say goodbye.
Bye, guys.
Kaylin.
Bye-bye.